Welcome back to this new edition of News Today. Without delay, let's explore the headlines first. India joins UN-led conference on Afghanistan in Doha. Maharashtra Special Public Security Bill 2024 proposed to curb urban Naxalism. Union Home Minister reviewed the implementation of the Vibrant Village program. Supreme Court directs states, UTs and their high courts to file status report on Gram Nyayalayas. CITES launched a report titled CITES Rosewood, the Global Picture. A study finds that air pollution harms pollinators more than pests. In our first news, let's dive into the latest update on India's participation in the UN-led conference on Afghanistan held in Doha. This is the third such conference, and India is among 25 countries working to improve the lives of Afghan people under Taliban rule. The conference aims to build on previous efforts such as the Delhi Regional Security Dialogue on Afghanistan and Moscow format consultations. Importantly, it allows the Taliban to position themselves as the sole representative of Afghanistan. The Taliban returned to power in 2021 after waging an insurgency against the US-backed government since 2001. So why is a peaceful and stable Afghanistan significant for the region and for India? Let's explore. Firstly, regional connectivity. Afghanistan is considered a gateway to the Central Asian region, which is crucial for trade and economic ties. Next, security. A stable Afghanistan means reduced insurgency and cross-border terrorism, leading to a more secure environment for India's northern and western borders. An unstable Afghanistan, on the other hand, could become a safe shelter for terrorists. Then there's energy and resources. Stability in Afghanistan could pave way for the Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India pipeline, boosting energy resources. Additionally, curbing drug trafficking is another critical aspect. A stable government in Afghanistan can better tackle drug trafficking issues. Afghanistan is part of the Death Crescent along with Pakistan and Iran, and states like Punjab are highly affected by it. Now let's talk about India-Afghan relations post-Taliban takeover. While India has not officially recognized the Taliban, it is helping Afghans through various means. India has supplied several shipments of humanitarian assistance, including wheat, medical aid and earthquake relief aid. Also, India continues its Indian Council for Cultural Relations scholarship scheme for Afghan students, ensuring educational opportunities. Moreover, trade between India and Afghanistan is ongoing, including through the Chabahar port. Additionally, India's technical team in Kabul is monitoring the status and function of projects built by it. In conclusion, India's active participation in the UN-led conference on Afghanistan highlights its commitment to regional stability and the welfare of the Afghan people.
In our next news, in a bold move to combat the growing threat of urban Naxalism, Maharashtra has proposed the Maharashtra Special Public Security Bill 2024. The sweeping legislation aims to crack down on individuals and organizations that encourage or preach disobedience of the law. The bill allows declaring organizations unlawful and gives power to district magistrate or police commissioners to grant permission for prosecution. An organization can also be declared as unlawful under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967 or UAPA. However, prosecution under UAPA requires central or state approval. Now let's talk about urban Naxalism in detail. Urban Naxalism refers to efforts to expand Maoist influence which seeks to overthrow the state through violent means. Originating from the 1967 uprising in Naxalbari, West Bengal, there is no standard definition of urban Naxalism. Unlike rural Naxalism, urban Naxalism is not centered around the use of violence against the state. Urban Naxals may also act as recruiters, propagandists, sources of funds for Naxals, and can provide logistics and safe refuge to armed Naxal cadres. Unlike rural regions, urban areas generally see lesser support for Naxalism due to better education, infrastructure, and state presence. Despite this, the threat remains significant, necessitating stringent measures. In summary, as Maharashtra steps up its fight against these hidden challenges, the proposed bill is poised to enhance public security and curb the spread of extremism in urban areas.
Ahead, we bring you an important update on the Vibrant Village Program or VVP, a vital initiative under review by the Union Home Minister. Let's dive into the key details and significance of this program. First, let's talk about the Vibrant Village Program or VVP. Approved in 2023, this program aims to ensure the comprehensive development of selected villages along the northern border in Arunachal Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Uttarakhand and Ladakh. Further delving into its key features, this centrally sponsored scheme managed by the Ministry of Home Affairs focuses on various areas such as skill development, livelihood generation, tourism, cooperative development and financial inclusion. The VVP has the potential to significantly improve border security by promoting community participation in border management. This community involvement is key to enhancing border security in several ways. Locals are familiar with the terrain, crossing points, and movement patterns, making them invaluable as additional eyes and ears for border guarding forces. Their situational awareness can aid in intelligence gathering and help identify suspicious activities, smuggling attempts, or potential security threats. Additionally, involving the community can help tackle workforce shortages, especially in harsh conditions. For instance, residents of Chushul village in Ladakh helped the army secure supplies during the harsh winter season in 2020. However, there are challenges in ensuring effective community participation. Distrust and alienation between armed forces and local population can disrupt cooperation. Moreover, a lack of economic progress due to government neglect can hinder these efforts. Moving on to other key initiatives aimed at improving the lives of people living along international borders, we have the Border Area Development Program. This program was launched to meet the special development needs of border populations, focusing on those living within 50 kilometers of the international border. The Border Roads Organization is also working on improving connectivity in these areas, further enhancing the quality of life for border residents. In conclusion, the Vibrant Village program, along with other initiatives like BADP and BRO projects, represents a significant step towards ensuring the development and security of India's border regions.
Ahead in the news, in a landmark move towards ensuring justice for all, the Supreme Court has directed states and union territories along with their respective high courts to file a status report on the implementation of Gram Nyayalaya. These village courts are designed to provide affordable, accessible and swift justice right at the citizens' doorsteps, aiming to declog the overburdened local courts. Gram Nyayalaya, established under the Gram Nyayalaya Act of 2008, are intended to bring judicial processes closer to the rural populace. Exemptions apply to states like Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim and certain tribal areas. These courts are seated at the headquarters of intermediate panchayats and function as courts of judicial magistrate of first class, with a Nyayadhikari or judge appointed by the state government in consultation with the High Court. What sets Gram Nyayalaya apart is their mobility and jurisdiction, handling both civil and criminal cases. They settle petty disputes through conciliation guided by principles of natural justice rather than the strict rules of Indian Evidence Act 1872. It was recently replaced by the Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam. Appeals from these courts in criminal cases go to the Court of Session, while civil case appeals lie with the District Court, with a mandate to be resolved within 6 months. Despite their promise, Gram Nyayalaya face significant challenges. While the nation needs around 6,000 such courts, only 481 have been established, and a mere 309 are operational. Furthermore, the Act does not mandate their establishment, merely suggesting that state governments may constitute them. States like Jharkhand and Bihar have shown resistance, particularly in tribal areas where traditional laws are prevalent. To support this initiative, under Gram Nyayalaya scheme, the union government provides financial assistance to states to set up Gram Nyayalaya. This move by the Supreme Court to gather status reports is a crucial step towards assessing the current situation and enhancing the reach and effectiveness of Gram Nyayalaya. In Annex News, the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, better known as CITES, has just launched an illuminating new report titled CITES Rosewoods: The Global Picture. The report casts a spotlight on the diverse and ecologically vital rosewood species listed under CITES, shedding light on their unique characteristics, roles in ecosystems, regeneration rates, and the pressing threats they face. Such information will help CITES parties make informed non-detriment findings or NDFs. NDF is a mandatory scientific analysis under CITES to ensure that exporting a specified quantity of specimens of Appendix 1 and 2 listed species will not affect their long-term survival in the wild. So what's in a name? Quite a lot if you're talking about rosewood. Also known as palisander, these tropical hardwoods belong to the Fabaceae family and are prized for their utility in crafting exquisite furniture and musical instruments. Rosewood and Appendix 2 of CITES include key species like Dalbergia latifolia or Malabar rosewood and Dalbergia sisso or shisham, which are found in India and are listed as vulnerable and least concern on IUCN Red List. Apart from that, it includes African rosewood, native to West African countries, which is listed as endangered on IUCN Red List. Beyond their beauty and utility, rosewoods play a crucial role in their ecosystems. Some species are nature's recyclers, improving degraded soils with nutrient-rich leaf litter, while others work with soil bacteria to fix atmospheric nitrogen, enhancing soil fertility. Wrapping up, take a look at some specifics about CITES. It is an international legally binding agreement between governments to ensure that international trade in specimens of wild animals and plants does not threaten the survival of the species. Drafted in 1963 following an IUCN resolution, it came into force in 1975. It has 184 parties, including India. Additionally, CITES appendices contains lists of species afforded different levels or types of protection from overexploitation. Appendix 1 includes species that are threatened with extinction. International commercial trade is prohibited for these. Appendix 2 lists species that are not currently threatened but may become so without controlled trade. For these, trade requires an export permit or re-export certificate, but no import permit is generally needed. Lastly, in Appendix 3, species are listed at a party's request to prevent illegal exploitation. Here, trade requires appropriate permits or certificates.
In our next news, let's dive into a fascinating and important study published in Nature Communications. This study reveals that air pollution harms pollinators like bees and butterflies more than crop-destroying pests. Let's break down the key findings. First, let's talk about scent-based communication disruption. Air pollutants alter the scent trails, which are airborne chemical signals. This disruption makes it difficult for bees and wasps to locate flowers, mates, or prey. Next, the biological impact is significant. Among various biological behaviors, including feeding, growth, survival, and reproduction, the ability to locate food is most severely impaired. This is crucial because it directly affects the survival of these pollinators. Now, let's look at the most harmful pollutant. The study found that ozone is particularly damaging, reducing beneficial insects' ability to thrive by around 34%. Nitrogen oxides also have substantial negative effects. It's also alarming to note that even low levels of air pollution cause changes in insect performance. This means that even in areas with relatively low pollution, pollinators are still at risk. To understand why this is so important, let's discuss pollination and pollinators. Pollination is an essential part of plant reproduction, involving the transfer of pollen grains from the male anther of a flower to the female stigma. There are two types of pollination: self-pollination and cross-pollination. Self-pollination happens within the same flower or another flower of the same plant, while cross-pollination involves transferring pollen to a flower of a different plant of the same kind. Pollinators are the agents or facilitators of pollination. They can be abiotic, like wind and water, or biotic, like insects, birds, and bats. In conclusion, this study highlights a critical issue. Air pollution not only affects human health, but also severely impacts pollinators, which are vital for our ecosystem and food supply.
In today's Place in News, we will discuss Argentina with its capital, Buenos Aires. Argentina designates Hamas a terrorist group in a show of support for Israel. Let's talk about its political features. It is a country in South America. Its neighboring countries include Chile to its south and west, Bolivia and Paraguay to its north, and Brazil and Uruguay to its east. It is bounded to the east by Atlantic Ocean. In terms of its geographical features, it is divided into four major regions: Andes, North, Pampas, and Patagonia. Pampas is a fertile grassland. Its major rivers include Paraná, Paraguay, Uruguay, etc. Its highest peak is Cerro Aconcagua.
As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. The Supreme Court has asserted that the Central Information Commission has powers to constitute benches and frame regulations. Central Information Commission is a statutory body under the Right to Information Act 2005 to ensure greater access to information to Indian citizens. The centre has exempted the Dedicated Freight Corridor Corporation of India Limited from the 18% GST. Dedicated Freight Corridor Corporation of India Limited is a special purpose vehicle of Indian Railways. It was incorporated in 2006 under the Indian Companies Act 1956. Over the last few years, bats made of Kashmiri willow have been attracting global attention. Kashmir willow is a deciduous tree which can grow up to 30 meters. It is mainly found in the Kashmir region of India. In Kashmir, willow trees were planted on a large scale by the British. It is mainly used in cricket bat industry, package case industry, plywood industry, etc. Recently, the Bihar government demanded a minimum support price for makhana. Makhana is a tropical and subtropical aquatic crop grown in stagnant perennial water bodies like ponds, land depressions, and oxbow lakes. Its seed is also called as black diamond. India is the largest producer of makhana in the world, and Bihar is the largest producing state. Union Home Minister inaugurated PM Colleges of Excellence in Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh is the first state to implement the NEP or National Education Policy 2020. PM Colleges of Excellence are upgraded according to the parameters fixed in the line with NEP. Recently, a study has highlighted that Wolbachia bacteria had manipulated the wasp Encarsia formosa to entirely get rid of its males. Encarsia formosa wasp help in controlling the population of whiteflies, a major agricultural pest. Nipah monoclonal antibody trials may begin in India in 2025. Monoclonal antibodies are lab-made proteins mimicking natural antibodies. Antibodies are parts of the body's immune system which seek out antigens and destroy them. Prime Minister inaugurates Indian Newspaper Society TAS in Mumbai. If we talk about the Indian Newspaper Society, its origin can be traced back to 1927. It was established as Indian and Eastern Newspaper Society in 1939. Its key objective is to act as central organization of the press of India and of any other country in Asia, which desires to associate itself with the society. Before we wrap up today's bulletin, it's time to put your knowledge to test in today's segment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this edition of News Today. For the solutions to today's quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description below.